Throughout the semester, we've learned that music in video games plays an extremely important role in the experience of the gamer. The music in any game can make it or it can break it. One game that is certainly made by its music is Outer Wilds. Outer Wilds is a single-player game by Mobius Digital Games, a small studio out of Los Angeles. Outer Wilds started as a master's thesis student project by Alex Beecham in the University of Southern California. Alex has said in his interviews with NoClip that the game is a mishmash of several different student project ideas, all combined into one game. But this caused the game to not be like any other. Outer Wilds is a game with no missions and no objectives for the player. Instead, it is only driven by the player's curiosity. Outer Wilds is set in a small solar system. The game has 5 planets, 2 moons, 1 comet, and a sun. And in the first few minutes of the game, the player spends time learning about the game world by talking to the various NPCs in the starting village on Timber Hearth. The player doesn't have long though, as after 22 minutes of playtime exactly, the sun explodes. Everyone you met dies and the solar system is destroyed right before your eyes. But then, the player wakes up again in the same place they started, next to a campfire. The player soon discovers that they are the only one that can remember the past 22 minutes. They now have a mystery to solve, with only their rinky-dink little spaceship and their own curiosity to solve it. The music in Outer Wilds is written by Andrew Prahlow. Andrew is the main composer for this game, and in an interview with Amy Campbell from Only Single Player, he talks about his music. He says, "The music doesn't play often, but when it does, it is purposeful and important. This mechanic makes the music in Outer Wilds very special when it does play. It plays only during the important moments, like when the gamer discovers a new clue or finds a new area." There are 6 main NPCs in the game that the player must find. They are referred to as travelers, and each traveler is found on a different celestial body, and each one also holds an important secret to the universe. And finding them is when these special tracks would play. Now these tracks that I have mentioned, they all represent the area that you find them in. For example, each planet, each moon, each area that the gamer explores has its own track. And these tracks are mostly non-diegetic background music, but there is one song in particular that is special. The song, appropriately titled Travelers, is the only diegetic song that plays in the entire game. But the player doesn't get to hear the full song until the very end of the game, after all the questions have been answered and after all the mysteries have been solved. The song Travelers from the Outer Wilds original soundtrack embodies the storytelling and plot development in Outer Wilds while enhancing the experience of the gamer. There are little bits and pieces of the song scattered around the solar system, and the pieces come in the form of the Travelers NPCs. There are 6 parts of the song, and each one corresponds to a traveler. Each traveler plays their own instrument during the game, and you can hear them individually when you meet them. The effect of the music in Outer Wilds is described nicely by Karen Collins in Game Sound, when she says, "Particularly important to games is the use of sound symbols to help identify goals and focus the player's perception on certain objects. The music that does play in Outer Wilds is the game's own way of having objectives." The first part that plays in the song is Rybek's part. Rybek plays the banjo, and his banjo tune is the theme of the entire game. Rybek's song is an average rhythm, and the banjo texture has a leitmotif associated with campfires. Rybek's melody is also the main theme to the game. Let's listen. The second part that plays in the song is Feldspar's part. Feldspar plays the harmonica. This harmonica piece has a much slower rhythm and a simple melody that acts as a background melody with its long notes. The timbre of the harmonica makes it very easy to identify, and the harmonica also reflects the area Feldspar is found in the game. Here is Feldspar's piece. The next piece that plays in the song is a flute. This is Gabbro playing. This flute melody is a background melody, just like how Gabbro is in the game. And Gabbro's piece is similar to Feldspar's in that the rhythm is slow and the melody uses long notes in the background. The timbre of Gabbro's flute is similar to the harmonica, and they serve a similar purpose in the song. Let's listen. Esker's part comes next with him whistling. Esker whistles the same tune as Rybeck on his banjo, and this fits him for the same reason. Esker whistles the same melody at the same rhythm, and these two parts play at the same time during the song to create some nice bitembrality between the banjo and the whistling. This is also a very catchy piece. Here's the tune. The next two parts come at the same time. One of them is Chert on the drums. Chert provides the physical explanation that drives the universe's mystery when the player meets him, and Chert's drums give the beat that drives the song. Here's a quick sample. The sixth and last piece of the song is Solanum's part. Solanum's part is the only part that can only be heard at the very end of the game. She is the final piece to the puzzle that ties it all together, and she plays at the same rhythm as the rest of the song, but with that distinct piano timbre. Solanum plays the main part to the song, which comes after the rest of the travelers, signifying that she was the last piece of the puzzle. Here is her part. At the end of the game, after the mystery of the universe has been solved, the song Travelers can finally be heard. The scene shows all 6 of the travelers coming together to play as one beautiful harmony. The player can choose to start each of the parts at different times, and the game will automatically sync them up. This reflects the game design and plot development, in that the player can meet each traveler and explore each area in any order that they wish. At the end of the song, the music blurs together into one note, just like how the individual clues fall into place to reveal the solution to the puzzle. The game design of Outer Wilds is a new type of game emerging in today's market. It shows the best way to tell a story is to reveal all the clues but to only link them together at the end. The song Travelers reflects this type of plot development in a beautiful way through the power of music. The song unites the characters of the game that were previously worlds apart. This is the power of music that can make a game like Outer Wilds instead of break it. All of the music in Outer Wilds enhances the experience of the gamer to the full extent. Outer Wilds tells its story in the best way possible, and this method is beautifully reflected in its music. Let's listen to Travelers to fully understand this connection. Keep in mind the things I discussed while we listen. Listen for Rybek's jaunty banjo tune right at the beginning, then look out for Feldspar's harmonica, followed by Gabbro on the flute. Esker's whistle is easy to spot, then Churt and Solanum bring the main melody with their drums and piano. Each part of the song is only a small piece that loops on itself. This may be common for video game music, but it has a special feeling in Outer Wilds. When all the pieces melt together into one note, think about what this means to the game's plot and storytelling as a whole. The whole song comes back to one piece at the end, which just perfectly wraps up the game. I'll leave it to you to figure out whose part it is. Thank you all for watching, and enjoy.